honey, can I get my coffee?
Uh-oh. Yes, honey, child. Honey,
I just don't know what I would do without it. I'm like Linus without his blank, without my sledge mug. Oh yeah, it's got. You can just. I'll finish off the rest of that coffee. Don't you throw that coffee out. It's
you don't need it.
I do too. I need it in my sledge mug. Good to the last drop.
Oh Lord.
What was that? Who used to do that? What was that? Maxwell House?
Yeah, I think so.
Time machine. You know how we do it. You know how we can do old school up in her.
Hey, what a surprise! I have not gotten a notification for you.
Yep. Well, hey, that's Facebook. That's just how it is, man. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna gripe about some stuff as far as that. I hope you guys ready because I'm gonna get my gripe on for real. Telling you, actually, how can I gripe when I got this? Check this out, man. You see me swimming in this thing? I'm like doggy paddling this thing, like swimming in it. But hey, this comes from our viewers, man. Who hooked us? This Shaolin Dave McAlias.
Cool.
Hooked me up with this. It's like this kind of like Captain America jersey. I can't stand up too much because I might be in my drawers under this desk and stuff like that.
Hey.
You know how it is nowadays. I'm just thinking about them anchor people like stuff like this. What you got under that desk, man? It's like they stand up and they got their underoos on or something like that. I got on shorts. I keep it very casual. Yeah, Zoe, you're so professional. Anyway, so check this out. Look at. It's got like it's like a Captain America, man, like kind of jersey, man. It's got my birth year on it. No, that's not the year 72. Bam, right? I said, dang, Zoe, you old, man. But people are like, I would have never known, Zoe, because you look like you're in your late 20s or something. Right? And check it out, bam, Zoe, like on the back. Look at that. It's like I'm like my own sports hero, like super.
Right.
Oh, a team of one superhero. It's like Zoe 72. So thank you, Dave. All right.
So cool.
So, all right. So as you guys are coming in, make sure you hit that share button, please. Hit that share button and try to keep in mind that the message is free, but it ain't free to deliver. So, if y'all could hit that tip jar, that would be fantastic. I obviously do this for a labor of love because, brother ain't getting no money from it. But
Right.
wouldn't mind if I did. And because I want to be able to bring these productions to you guys and, do my part to put the truth out there in this ocean of fake news that's going on. And, y'all, we need the good news, y'all. We need the gospel. And that's what it's about, y'all. I want to do my part to help preserve this republic. That's what it comes down to. I hope those who've been hanging with me as long as you have, I hope by now that you guys realize that. I'm just a bro next door with an opinion who's not all about all things with the media and in the political arena and all that sort of stuff. And I know a lot of y'all are the same way, but we got to respond. If we value freedom, we got a responsibility to maintain it. You got to get involved to some degree. Yeah. You can't just ignore it. You can't just ignore these crazy people, whether they're these celebrities or whomever it is, or these goofy politicians or whatnot. You can't ignore an infection, y'all. We gotta speak the truth. We got to do some kind of maintenance. I feel you. So if you're listening to my streams and stuff like that, that we've got a certain a responsibility to speak the truth where and when we can.
Yeah.
In love.
I was gonna say in love.
Mm-hmm. All right. So if that in mind, when I say speak the truth, how important is that, y'all? It's so important because the word tells us that woe to those who don't know good from evil, light from dark, bitter from sweet, man from trans, all that sort of stuff. You know how we do. And when you have cats like Antifa, and Antifa look, y'all, and we talked about this before, and I told you it's a spiritual issue. We can try to go ahead and rationalize it and psychoanalyze it all we want to, y'all. It comes down to a spiritual issue. I mean, and of course these things manifest in our mentality. The spiritual war manifests in our emotions. The spiritual war manifests in culture, it manifests in politics, it manifests in everything. But there's a core to it. When you're looking at people who are it's almost like, dude, how do you not see this? How are you falling for this? It's like supernatural stupidity. And y'all know I don't like to throw the word stupid around. You know that.
Yeah, true.
I hate doing that. But y'all, when you look at some of this stuff, it's like, dude, this is, how can you not get this?
Yeah.
It's like scales over their eyes. It's something like supernaturally dumb. Blindness, where they can't see what's cracking, what's going on. So, you know, when you got Antifa out there and you have the media telling them that they're out there doing peaceful protests while a guy is on the ground and they're kicking him on the back of the head. Oh, they're out there and they're just, you know, they're exercising their free protest, right? And their freedom to assemble. So it's like, no, dude, it's like, wow, you don't see that? And like I said, yo, what cracks me up is like people act like this is a new thing, man. It's not new. There's no excuse for people to be going crazy like this again. This ain't new stuff. This kind of belligerence and this kind of violence with Democrats is not a new thing. So when we're visiting this stuff again, it's like, wow, man, we're not doing our cultural groundwork. This stuff should not be ramping up again.
Amen.
It just shouldn't be happening. And we see how they do it, but you know, I don't want to get into all that again. But hey, that's what's going on. And y'all, if you think in America, that kind of violence has happened in America before. It can happen again. And like places like Hong Kong, you know, what's that cat's name?
Or Daniel Wong.
Daniel Wong. You know, hey, so you know, salute to my man Daniel Wong. And you know, because you know, you got a kind of government out there, and you go and you try to protest them, they'll run over you with a tank. You know what I'm saying? That's how much value they have over there, folks. You know, I don't mean to laugh at something like that, but that's real. That's
a girl, they'll abort you.
Yeah, that's right. You know, it's like, oh, what you gonna have? You gonna have a little girl? Oh, you know, and then they wonder why they only have so many men in China. It's like, what? It's like, wow, man, I'm trying to find me a girlfriend. Where the honey's at? It's like, well, you aborted them when they were kids. That's like Toys R Us being like, man, there's not enough business for us. Well, that's what you guys get for supporting abortion, man. You just killed off your clientele. You know, it's like, it's the same thing in China. You know, so Hong Kong is like, look, man, and you got these cats out there. It's like, look, we want representation in our government, and we want to be free to worship God. You got a Christian movement in Hong Kong. They want that freedom. But not only do they want freedom, they want to be able to worship the author of freedom. They recognize who he is. It's like, yo, that guy Jesus, that's freedom right there. And we want to base our life on that. And yo, you got hats off, because we think we got a little rough here. We ain't seen nothing yet. It can get real ugly here. So don't think that just because it's America, it can't happen here. Yes, it can. All right. It's you know, we can end up in a nasty war. It's happened here before. Y'all want it to happen again? We got to get out there and we got to speak that truth. So, you know, things like that, you know, are going down. And the media will twist up anything. I mean, they twist up anything, even right now. Like when we do that, I was thinking, man, as we get into this study, as you know, I'm going, you know what the Lord, I was like, Lord, should I say what I'm gonna say in this study as we study Exodus 14? Because I like, Lord, I think some people will take it the wrong way. It's like, when don't people take what you gotta say the wrong way, man?
Very true.
When don't they do that? It's like, God's like, come on, man. You know, don't be scared. Say what you got to say. What? It's in my word. So look, you know, I'm like, man, I think some people will try to take it as me being like anti-Semitic and stuff like that. It's like, and I think my audience, y'all know that I don't play that. Now anybody can say that.
Right.
People don't want to own up to, like, Democrats. We're not anti-Semitic. It's like, man, didn't you guys find the KKK? And didn't you Democrat KKK? Didn't you have a particular hatred for Jewish people? And you still do today?
Yes.
As you guys give the benefit of the doubt to the Palestinians and snub the Jews and snub Israel. It's like, man, you guys are anti-Semitic all day while trying to accuse somebody else of it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I was like thinking today, it's like, man, should I go down this road, man, with Exodus? But, you know, it's a study, man. I got to call it. I got to call it like I see it. And, you know, and may iron sharpen iron, and may the Lord, you know, Lord have mercy on me, because I ain't trying to come from a place of bigotry with what I'm saying, you know, how I'm going to put it out there. You know, it's definitely not nothing malicious or anything like that. I'm just calling it like I see it. And, you know, and Trump, you know, is being accused of anti-Semitism again, you know, over his statement. And what did he say? And we'll tie this up, like, as I go through the chapter. You know, when he's saying, it's like, okay, Jews, you're voting for Democrats. You're at odds with America. I'm paraphrasing. You're at odds with America. It's basically traitorous for you guys to be siding with Democrats the way that you're doing.
Yeah.
And
He said disloyalty.
yeah, just disloyal. It's disloyal. So now that's taken as anti-Semitism. And in this, and when people wonder about this, people wonder about, well, what is it with Democrats in voting? I mean, and Jews voting Democrats. What is it with that, y'all? We gonna read it, and the Lord has brought us to this chapter for times such as this.
Yeah.
Okay, I just read the chapters in order, and right now it's just the timing. It's time to read this. Okay, and we've touched on it before, y'all. I'm not gonna hit y'all with anything new. It's gonna be reinforced. And it'll be reinforced again as we read. When people wonder, it's like, dude, Jews, what's up with you in voting Democrats? We gonna read this. We gonna come across this a couple times. Okay, so, but y'all, that's what they do. And this is some stuff that we're up against. Whether it's Antifa is just another manifestation of a Democrat paramilitary terrorist group. These little tinker thugs, tinker terrorists that they are. But don't underestimate stupidity, y'all. What did I tell you? It's like, now with Antifa, what are they trying to do? Antifa is all about, they're a bunch of fascists, and if you guys remember my friend Bill Whittle's dissertation on fascism, we understand he did a great job in letting folks know what fascism is. Right? Mm-hmm. For those who may not have known, fascism is basically means a bundle of sticks. Yeah, fasciste. I think forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but that's what it's about. It's basically when you bundle these smaller elements together, you tie them together to make something to beat people over the head with, to make something solid, to beat people into submission with. That's what fascism is. And what are these cats doing? They're trying to bundle together to beat people into submitting to them. They want to bundle together to give power to the state, to make the state force us to live by their ideals. That's what fascism is. That's the full-on antithesis of Antifa.
Amen.
They're antithetical to their own ideas. They are what they hate. They're exactly that. Now, why is this? Because what's Antifa trying to push? They want to push some strange idea of equal rights.
Right.
Equal rights? No, they want special rights. Special rights for stuff that doesn't even exist. And then also, and when it comes to the LGBT movement, now y'all don't underestimate these man bun wearing, cross-dressing weirdos that are out there trying to do this, trying to find some sense of righteousness or some sense of resist, this resistance thing that they're, y'all, I get it. They may be children and all that sort of stuff, or they, they've got emotional problems. Y'all do not underestimate. Don't underestimate stupidity. Okay? Don't underestimate selfishness. Don't underestimate people who can't deal with reality.
Oh, true.
You can't do that, man. This is no joke. We can read it right from the Word of God. Sodom and Gomorrah. You know why Sodom and Gomorrah caught the serious heat from on high? When angels had to show up and say, "Yo, God, right here, drop that fire right here," because these people are crazy.
Yeah.
Sodom and Gomorrah, y'all. Sodom and Gomorrah were a bunch of weirdos who couldn't deal with reality and kept trying to change things, do things that were unnatural. Sodom and Gomorrah was just a place where people did not respect nature, worshipped nature, but did not respect it. Right? Wow. That's a scary thing. When you got people who act like they worship, they're so into nature, but don't respect nature, that's a dangerous combination. Yeah. That's a dangerous combination, y'all. And these Democrat voting, Antifa, earth worshiping, nature violating freaks become a real danger. Look what happened. God had to deal with Sodom and Gomorrah with fire. He poured out fire on them because the people of Sodom and Gomorrah had become so weird, so oppressively weird, that the nations that were around them, who were a bunch of heathen nations themselves, they were a bunch of heathen. Even they were like, "Hey, God, yo, you got to," they're calling out to God. These heathen people, these pagans and stuff like that are saying, "Hey, God, can you do something about this? Because these people are crazy." Because they become so oppressive with their odds with nature, that their worldview poured out on the other people, and it oppressed them, where God had to show up and pour out fire on them, because that's how oppressive they became. You don't think that can happen again? Conservatives be talking about this silent minority. You better watch out for the noisy minority, because that small group of people can become a serious danger to you.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to as the saying goes, I'm not trying to scare you, I'm trying to prepare you. This has been written, it's been done. And when these people are able to get their perverted ideology into government, you got a real problem.
Oh boy, yes.
It's one thing it's like, remember how they used to say, oh, what we do in our bedrooms is our own business and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. All that stuff was a lie. We knew what was coming. We know, it's like, we should have known.
Yeah, true.
We should have known that they were going to try to make their so-called private lifestyle public policy for us to have to endorse. And if you don't, you can get punished.
Wow.
That's what's coming down. It's coming down. That's happening now. So and you know, when people think about, oh, we're going to have a political victory, y'all, I'm telling you, if you don't handle this stuff culturally, you can have all the political victories that you want. When people don't consent to what kind of government we have in there, especially people who can't deal with reality, and people who are at odds with the word of God, you're going to have some problems. You're going to have violence in the streets. I don't care who your political party. You can have Republican everything. It don't matter. You can have a Republican presidency, House, Senate, governorships. So what? So what? If you got a culture who doesn't respect any of that, you're going to have your political victory, but you're going to have some cultural violence.
Oh, true.
Lots of it.
True.
How do I know? Because it's already happened. We had it before.
Explain. What do you mean by that?
How about the Civil War?
Yeah, very true.
Civil Wars is a prime example. The bloodiest war on American soil.
Amen. And
to this day, people still don't get it. They think, it's war of northern aggression, or it's a war because the North was all jealous of our, and imposed a bunch of taxes. None of that stuff is true. None of it. You know, it's like people in their pride, they can't deal with the fact that these Democrats, we see the psychotic behavior of these Democrats today, but it's just like some people can't put two and together. It's like, you do realize that these same psychotic-minded Democrats are the same ones who established the Confederacy. They're the same people. These same people who went to war with the Constitution then are the same people who are at odds with the Constitution today.
Wow.
You don't see it? You think that this was just because Northerners got mad? Oh, well, the North, they had slaveries too. Yeah, of course the North had slavery, because they had Democrats also. Democrats who wanted slavery too. They just didn't want to concede to the Union being separated. That's all. That was the only difference between Democrats in the North and Democrats in the South. That was the only difference.
Interesting.
The Democrats in the South wanted secession. The Democrats in the North didn't, but they all wanted slavery.
Oh, jeez.
And people, you know, the Southerners, they get all defensive about that. It's like, dude, it ain't about the South. It's about Democrats. Understand that. It ain't about an attack on the South. It's Democrats who established the Confederacy. And y'all, because people have been so obstinate about that, we're still dealing with stupid ideology today, thinking that, you know, this race, they're totally twisted up on the whole racial narrative. That's why people are still able to play on it today. But I've been warning about y'all about this for how long? How long? I told you, conservatives, you have to fix this. Quit clinging to these ideas that you were taught in the public school. Who do you think taught you that stuff? Democrats. Everything that you think you know about the Confederacy, Democrats taught you. And Democrats know how to cover their tracks.
Amen.
Democrats know how to switch things up. How good are they at it? They're able to tell other people that people can switch their sex. That's how good they are.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been trying to tell y'all people, that's why we got this crazy stuff going on now, where people can say, oh, they had a peaceful protest while people are getting beat up in the streets.
Yeah.
That's why they're able to do this.
It's amazing.
You know, am I wrong? Am I lying?
But can I ask you a question? Like, even just last night, and we see it every time we put on Fox News, the nightly hosts who have their shows on Fox News, they all say, this is a new Democrat party.
Right.
This isn't the Democrat party of your grandfather.
They ain't helping.
It's kind of confusing.
Yeah, it is discouraging, because y'all look, man, I'm not trying to take a whole bunch of credit and stuff like that, but it'd be great if people would, like, you know, say, hey, you know, you might want to check out some about Alonzo Rachel's work. It's tag me as Alfonso, whichever, you know, and put it out there. It's like, yo, man, take a take a lead from what this dude is saying, because you guys are kind of doing it wrong. You're trying to make like this is a new thing. That's why people can go ahead thinking that there was some sort of party switch, because it's this new Democrat Party. It's like, no, dude, it's not a new Democrat Party. This is who they've been. They've always been like this.
Yeah.
So, but conservatives, they shoot themselves in the foot. And they lead people to believe that there was a party switch, and that's why conservatives can't get this. They can't get people to be more receptive of what it is that they're teaching, because they're programmed with the prejudice against you already, and conservatives help them do it the most.
Oh gosh, that's true.
Conservatives give them the fodder to do it. Yeah. And they fall for this idea that, oh, well, it doesn't matter what we tell them. They're going to think that we're racist and stuff like that. And that kind of defeatist attitude manifests as problems for us. Yeah, there are going to be some people who just don't get it, but you don't have to help them.
Yeah.
I hear people say, just say what's on your mind and say it, and just say it, whatever, and don't have a filter. It's like, dude, you might want to have a filter. You might want to consider some things you're saying. It's like, dude, really think about this. Get your pride out of the way. Get your ego out of the way, and just consider what it is. I'm not talking about being politically correct, but just, think about what it is that you're going to say.
Yeah.
Before you put it out there. Like I had to do and really pray about what I'm going to say tonight in this year's study. Okay? Now, anyway, hey, I want to take a break from this polygamy, and I want to give you guys a reminder. Okay? I want to give you guys a reminder. Listen here. Y'all, I have not given up on that sci-fi sword idea.
Amen.
I'm still at it. Okay? And I really hope that you guys support. I know it's not your fault that that a lot of folks are supporting. The problem is, hey, listen, something's weird. Something is weird when you've got gazillion Star Wars fans, and when Facebook says, oh, we shape our algorithms to what people are interested in. That's a lie. Because if that were true, when I put up a post about Star Wars and the invention that I have, that should get views up the yin yang.
Yep.
That should get just untold views that I've got this product. But y'all, I've been shuffling along with this thing for years, trying to put it out there and get support to get this invention made. Just little inches, baby steps I'm having to make, because it's not easy to do. Getting something, it's like when you hear about people trying to get something invented, it takes them years. That's a real thing. It's a real thing, because you run into people. You're trying to connect with the right people to produce, just even to start engineering it and start developing it. I've got a problem. I proved that it works, but it's just not. It's not demonstratable in the market. Okay, it's just too flimsy, because when you're going into the store and you're buying parts for it that are not custom fit, you're going to end up with an unstable product. But even with the unstable product, I proved that it works. It's the thing that's been missing. It's the thing that the Jedi nerds have been wanting. They've been trying to get close to this idea. Well, I built one. All right, I built it, but it's hard for me to get the support for it, because Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Google, they won't let my campaign for it to go out there. Yeah. And it's been it's like it sucks, because I hate for people to think that they're wasting their money. It's like, Zo, man, what happened to your sci-fi? I said, dude, I'm still trying. I am still at it. I'm still trying. I have not given up on it, but my ability to promote it has been suppressed. Y'all, it takes a long time to, say, for like the Gosnell movie. Remember how y'all was like, dude, how long does this take? It takes a long time. Because you're running into obstacles, things that it's like, dude, this shouldn't even happen. With the Gosnell movie, like between distributors not wanting to touch it because of their biases, lawsuits, getting them and platforms kicking them off because of they didn't want to, talk about abortion and stuff. Like, you run into these obstacles. And you run it, and people just, being flakes. You run into this stuff. And that's what's going on. It's like, y'all, I have not given up, but it's a difficult process. Maybe for some people, it can happen like overnight and with ease. It's not happening like that for me. Yeah. It's finding the right people. It's like, trying to find a person who understands what you're trying to do from start to finish. Like, say, for instance, it's like you can go to an engineer to help you try to develop it. That's one thing. But then that person engineers it, draws it up what it is that you need to do, and then you go to try to take it over to somebody to tool it. And the person who's looking at it say, yeah, we can't do that. Yeah. Then you just wasted your time. Now you got to go back and confer with your engineer, go back to the developer, and then the developer may, go back to the tooler, and then the tooler may try to pass it over to manufacturer. Manufacturing, yeah, we can't do that. So you got to have it like all in one person who can do it all, Some people are able to do it, some not. Maybe other people have different ways to do it. But you want to have somebody who understands it from start to finish and has the resource and has the contact to be able to do that pretty much in-house. Just finding that right company to be able to do that is hard in itself.
Amen.
Okay? But y'all, it takes time. It takes money. It's taken me more time because of my content being suppressed. Because of the suppression of my content, it's really difficult to connect with these people. It's difficult to get certain pieces made to be able to do it. Like I said, y'all, it's not like it's a big difficult thing to do, but you got to find the right people who are just on your wavelength to do it. That's the thing. That's a rare thing, to find people who are on your wavelength to produce your idea. It's hard, you know, but I'm still trying. I haven't given up. And thank you, because I hear people saying, hey, somebody said, have you tried Shark Tank? A lot of people ask me that. Y'all, once again, I have to have a working product. I can't take, because the prototype that I have looks like Frankenstein's monster, man. I'm just being real with you. It shows that it works. But you want me to go on TV and have this thing, this clumsy looking thing, and be like, hey, Shark Tank, look what I have. They're going to be like, man, get out of here. No, I can't do that. I have to be able to develop it to where it at least is an attractive prototype. I want to give you, you want to have the best chance possible when you go and you do that. You know, so it's like, if I come in with this frenzy thing that's like falling apart and stuff like that, well, say, look, at least it kind of works. And the thing is, in the demonstration, it might work, it might not. Yeah. I don't want that. When I need to at least be able to produce it to where it's viable, where it may not be ready for market, but it's ready for demo. That's the stage that I've been trying to get to. And it's hard to do because these parts have to fit very specifically. It's not like a hard thing. It's not totally hard, but these parts have to fit pretty exact in order for it to do what it's going to do. And I don't have that. Okay? And that takes money. That costs. You know, like I said, for the design, for engineering it to where it's ready for tooling, and then tooling it to where it's ready for manufacture, and to even make a prototype. That stuff, that's no cakewalk. It's not a cakewalk. So if you guys are watching, y'all, you know, keep me in your prayers. Keep us in your prayers that, you know, that we'll get this done, because we are still trying. People be like, don't quit, man. Keep going. Don't stop. Hey, you don't stop either. If you want me to keep on going, I hope you're going to keep on going with me. All right. I'm not looking to quit, and I hope you guys don't quit either. And let's get this done, y'all. You guys, I put up a post, you know, for the campaign again. Hardly anybody saw it because Facebook doesn't want it going out there. They don't want to go. I just put out a post saying, hey, I'm still doing the sword. Hardly anybody saw it. So, you know, that's what I'm up against. Yeah. I can't promote it on Twitter, can't promote it on Facebook, can't promote it on YouTube. You know, all the places where people are, where they get their information, right. I can't reach them. You know? So, like I said, prayers, y'all. Hopefully y'all keep us in your prayers and we'll get this done. You know, I would have loved to have gotten this done before the next Star Wars movie came out to capitalize on that. I don't know if it'll get done by then. You know, that's been the plan. But, you know, the idea is still that, like I said, it works. It does work. It's just a point of being able to make it work reliably. Yeah. And to do that, the parts have to be very specific in order to do that. It's just not an easy process. Amen. It's not. Okay. All right, y'all.
It's in the Lord's hands.
That's right. That's right. It's like it's going to take a miracle.
It is.
God doesn't work like miracles. God is a miracle worker. So Amen. I'm relying on that. Anything? What else? Should we just go ahead and cut on into it?
Well, I guess so. I mean,
we can bust out with other stuff afterwards.
Yeah.
We can get it afterwards.
We always do that.
If people want to hang out in the ZOpium Den,
yeah.
You know, house of the anti-Semitic Bible study. All right. All right. Let us get the Holy Spirit up in here. You know, the Holy Spirit should have already been here. Man, I've been here. I've been waiting for you to introduce me.
Oh, I hope so.
But thank you, Holy Spirit, that you are here.
It's the star of the show.
Right, the star of the show. Our high priest and king, Yeshua. In his name, we invite the Holy Spirit to counsel us in our study, to help us walk and talk in your way. Help us to be effective salt and light for your glory. You know, help us, you know, to promote sanity as effectively as insanity is being promoted. Father, let us, you know, get out there and radiate with the truth. Let us gravitate people to you, and may our words and actions resonate with people in the most blessed way. For your glory, Father. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, let's do this.
What are we reading?
Exodus 14. And remember, y'all, I read the Jewish Messianic Bible. We have the Jewish Messianic Bible. So if you see some verses that seem out of order, stuff like that, that's why. And we're still getting the same information. Everything that's in your Bible is in my Bible. It just may be in a different order. And principle is still there. Yes. I'm not going to pretend to give you guys this Bible explanation of why these Bibles are written in the order that they are. I'm not going to. I don't know. I haven't really come across like an explanation that satisfies me. But what does satisfy me is that all the information is there. I get to read it and catch the terms that are in Hebrew. They're already there. These key terms, and you look at them and you see how they open up. Like when you go to translate them and stuff like that, and you see the connotations and what they're implying in these words. So stuff like that is what makes this Bible very attractive to me. Yes. And when I read the Bible anyway, I have my cross reference Bible. So I got any Bible that I want to look at. I can look at King James. I can look at Berean study Bibles. I can look at New English, whatever translation you like. I have it right there to get a broader scope of what it is that I'm reading. So and the Lord wants us to be able to read it that way, because you try to read one Bible. If you tried to translate everything that was in the Bible would just be, it would, like I said, it would be higher than a stack of Obama's healthcare bill. It's like, so that's why we read the Bible in fellowship, because your Bible is going to give one aspect of how a word is translated, but it's still relevant. We're supposed to read the book in fellowship because you're looking at yours, I'm looking at mine, and then it makes like this three-dimensional, deeper, gives you deeper insight into what these words are saying. And then that's when you start saying, oh, wait a minute, that was said right here. And you start to see the relevancy of it, and you see how it's all connected when you have liars out there trying to say that it contradicts.
Right. Or that it's been translated so many times you can't believe what it says.
Exactly. It's like, okay, so you insist that it's been mistranslated and stuff like that. Well, there's nobody stopping you from learning how to speak Hebrew.
Right. Or Greek.
You can go ahead and learn how to speak Greek. You can. I'm freezing up.
You still look good here.
Got gremlins trying to get up there.
Yeah, broadcast interrupted.
I wonder if my phone is
getting... Okay, you're back.
All right. I have a feeling my phone's trying to get hot.
Uh-oh.
I have a feeling. Oh, no. The truth is hot. I see it jittering. We better get cracking, man. Okay, let's start reading. Okay. Adonai spoke to Moses, saying, speak to Bnei Yisrael, so that they turn back and encamp before Pi Hareoth. And that means a mouth passage. It's maybe a place where reeds grow. That was somebody trying to call. It's like, if somebody's trying to call me, you know what that means? That means they're not watching my study. Okay, Pi Hareoth means mouth passage. Maybe a place where the reeds grow. That's what Pi Hareoth means. Okay, so as we go on, between Migdal, and I just saw, hey, Barry Chenault showed up. Hey, blessings, Barry. Give my man Barry Chenault a shout out, y'all, because why? Well, because he's my friend, and he's my friend who shows up to 20-pound sled shows. Hey, and he is the drummer for Hot Chili, and that's spelled hot like H-A-U-T, H-A-U-T-E, I think it was hot. It's Hot Chili. And he's also the touring drummer for Parliament Funkadelic and the Gap Band. So,
awesome.
These are friends that I have.
At least you're not bragging about who signed your Bible today.
Yeah, Barry Chenault is my friend. All right? So, man, shout out. And all of you guys, man. I'm so grateful that all of y'all are here.
Amen.
It means a lot to us. All right, so we got Pi Hareoth. Between Migdal, that means tower, and the sea. You are to encamp by the sea opposite Baal Zephon. Check this out, y'all. Baal Zephon, Pharaoh will say concerning Bnei Yisrael, they are wandering aimlessly in the land. The wilderness has shut them in. So, what's trippy about this, if I can use the term trippy, hey, it's the ZOpium Den. I can say the trippy. Okay. He says, and the sea, and you are to camp by the sea opposite Baal Zephon. Now, mind y'all, this is the Exodus. Deliverance is coming, right? Reason why this is weird is because Baal Zephon, it means the god of destruction. particularly the God of destruction, the winter God of destruction. That's what Baal Zephon means. It means the winter, the God of winter, God of destruction. Why is this strange? Because what does it say? And when the Jews, when it's telling them, get up on top of your homes, don't even go back in to get your stuff, run for the hills. And what did it say? Pray it doesn't come in winter.
Oh my.
Right? So the revelation, once again, is giving you pictures of what was, because it's going to happen again. Right? In this deliverance, the God of destruction for them is facing them as a God of winter. Winter is their destruction. So in the end, it's going to be saying, pray that it doesn't come in winter. Once again, giving you pictures and giving that validity of what's happening. That what happened then is going to happen again. All right. So we got, and shut them in. I will harden Pharaoh's heart, so he will follow after them. Then I will be glorified over Pharaoh along with his army, and the Egyptians will know that I am Adonai. So they did so. Now, once again, y'all, this ain't some ego trip for God. Hey, I'm going to do this and I'm going to be glorified. Okay, God doesn't say that without us understanding this very particular thing. He's worthy to be glorified.
Amen.
Okay? Why is he worthy to be glorified? Because when you glorify, because the best way to conduct yourself among people is to glorify God. It's for our sake. Loving other people, when you love people, if you love people by your own accord, you will do other people dirty. Because people have twisted ideas of what love is. That's why. God's like, you got to love me. I'll teach you how to love. You got to love me. All right? And when you love me and you do what my statutes say, then that's how you will behave well among people. That's why. You won't do each other dirty when you love me. Worship me. But if you go and you worship, and because these people are prone to worship, everybody does. I don't care if you're atheist, because what does an atheist worship? Science.
Right.
All right. Everybody worships something.
And themselves.
And God is like, worship me.
Yeah.
Because when you worship other things, you will become perverse and you will do other people dirty. Worship me, and you will be clean by other people. All right. That's why.
Yeah. It's the only correct worship, right?
Right. It's the only way. So then I will be glorified over Pharaoh. Okay, we did that. All right, 5. When the king of Egypt was told that the people had fled, Pharaoh and his servants had a change of heart toward the people. And they said, what is this we have done? It's like, wait, what? Where they going? And remember, what is Pharaoh's not, the only thing Pharaoh is worried about is them leaving.
Oh, yeah.
Even despite the power that they've accumulated, the Jews, they became powerful in their slavery. Hey, that's going to make a little bit more sense in just a minute. In their oppression, they became more powerful. But even with that, the Pharaoh was not worried about them overtaking his kingdom. He was worried about them leaving. That's what he was worried about. Weird, right?
Yeah.
No, not so much. You know people like that. It's like, you can see psychotic couples. Be like, wait. Oh, you think you're going to leave me? As Richard Pryor says, oh, you think you want to leave? That's fine. You just got to find another way out here other than that door. Because if you try to leave me, girl, I'm gonna kill you. All right, so that's not an unfamiliar mentality, is it?
That's true.
We know what that's like. Possessive people.
Yep.
Okay, so Pharaoh's the same way, possessive over them. He doesn't want them to leave. So, what is this that we have done? And remember, y'all, God has his reasons for hardening Pharaoh's heart. He's not hardening it just because, oh, I'm God, I want to tinker around with somebody's heart. All this stuff is instructive. God has to show you would think a ridiculous amount of power, a ridiculous amount of punishment for these people to understand who they're messing with. And when you think about what God is capable of, he really went light on them, despite all the plagues. Like, dude, seriously, man, I could crush the whole world in my hand, and it wouldn't even be a thing. I mean, you guys got off light, really, but his display of power with them was necessary. It's like, dude. It's like this is who God is, and it's not even so much that they got it. It shows the obstinance and the arrogance of these people. The arrogance, and this is throughout history, that people would be that arrogant despite the amount of strength that you would show them.
True.
And it's almost like you have to show that to show that your response to them is justified. It's like, look, dude, this is the thunder that you call down because of your arrogance, because of your disregard for humanity. This is what it took. You think that you're a God yourself. That's what you think. And it actually takes this amount of force to deal with you. And let history judge. All right. So, as far as the Israel goes, the Israelites needed to see this too. Because remember, y'all, it wasn't even freedom that they were asking for. They just wanted the oppression to stop. They didn't mind being slaves. They were quite successful as slaves. They didn't need for the slavery to stop. They wanted the hard labor to stop, is what they wanted. But they never asked God for freedom. Think about that. It wasn't freedom that they asked for. They just wanted to be comfortable.
Gee, that sounds very familiar.
Done it?
Americans.
Right? You got people out there who will be satisfied with being serfs. You got people out there who will be satisfied with being wards of the state. Just make me comfortable.
Yeah.
That's all. Give me my, I want to be able to look forward to the 1st and the 15th. I want my WIC. I want my what's that? I want my EBT card.
Yeah.
You know? I want this, I want that. I want to be paid the maximum amount for minimal effort.
Oh,
you know, we got that kind of stuff. If I'm gonna do work, I want to do a little bit of work. I want to do work that I don't have to put a lot of my mind to, but I want you to pay me a lot of money to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the mentality has been around for ages.
Yeah.
Ages. These cats were no different. The Bible is speaking to us today from thousands of years ago.
Amen.
Same flipping behavior, y'all. Same stuff. Okay. What is this we've done? That we let Israel go from serving us. So he prepared his chariots and took his people with him. He took 600 of the finest chariots. They had like spinning wheels and stuff like that. They had the spinning rims. You know, they was like tricked out. You know, where they had spoilers. The chariots had spoilers on and stuff like that. You know, them triple stack spoilers. And you know, they had like the pink headlights and all that sort of stuff. He was ready to roll, man. He was gonna do, you know, it's come, you know, real. All right.
It was like that.
You know, and all the Egyptian warriors like had that kind of like spiky like hairdo like they do in like Jersey Shore and stuff like that. It's like, hey. All right. Anyway, chariots of Egypt and captains over them. Adonai hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, so he pursued Bnei Yisrael, for Bnei Yisrael went out with a high hand. But the Egyptians pursued them with all the horses and chariots of Pharaoh, as well as his charioteers and his army, and overtook them as they were encamped by the sea behind Pi-Hahiroth, opposite Baal-Zephon. Remember, Baal-Zephon is the winter god of destruction.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, picture of what's coming. Pray that it doesn't come in winter, as the word says. Okay? When Pharaoh drew near, Bnei Yisrael lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians were marching after them. So they were terrified, and Bnei Yisrael cried out to Adonai. They said to Moses, "Have you taken us away to die in the wilderness because there was no graves in Egypt?" A very rhetorical statement. All right, talk about dramatizing, because Egypt is like, they call it the land of tombs. The Egyptians are fascinated with death. That's why they built them big old pyramids and stuff like that, because the kings, the pharaohs were obsessed with death because they thought that they could look forward to eternal life. The pyramids is speculated by Egyptologists and archaeologists and stuff like that, who say that the tombs were built to be a resurrection machine.
Whoa.
For the pharaoh. Now, and then you'll have people who will try to say that the resurrection story of Christ was stolen, plagiarized the resurrection efforts of the pharaoh, which kind of validates the idea that these were resurrection machines. But let's square something up here. Jesus don't need to steal nothing from Egyptian lore, nothing, because the so-called resurrection machines of the pyramids, y'all, that took a whole bunch of tools and a whole bunch of manpower, slave labor, and years to make this so-called resurrection machine. All Jesus needed was three nails and a cross. That was Jesus's resurrection machine, and he didn't put the whole bunch of people through slavery to do it. He was the only one who could carry that load. So Jesus didn't steal nothing. Let's get that straight. Let's see. Now, in here, where we're saying, you got the Egyptian, the Hebrews are saying, you know, what you drag us out here for, man? Were there not enough graves in Egypt? Yeah. Oh, there's plenty. There's plenty of graves. But what the Jews are saying is like, man, with all the graves that are in Egypt, with all the tombs and stuff that are in Egypt, and how they're fascinated they are with the dead, that wasn't enough for you. You're going to bring us out here to die? So, and also what the Hebrews are saying is, yo, we would rather live as slaves than to die free. That's what they're saying.
Wow.
And that's how, and you got a lot of people who are like that today. Unfortunately, there's too many. And our policies are being shaped for that.
Yeah, true.
All right? So when people, it's like we're getting into it, y'all. When people get into it, it's like, how is it that Jews vote Democrat? Y'all, you're seeing it. We've been talking about it.
Yeah, see Exodus.
And please make no mistake. This is not about trying to promote any sort of anti-Semitism or anything like that. We're not about that here.
Amen.
Jews are our brothers and our sisters, right? We're thankful to them because of the ultimate fruit of Jesus Christ being rendered through them. So we're very thankful. Our high priest and king is Jewish. So don't even try to say that we got beef with Jews. We don't. But we're calling it like the Bible has told us. When people wonder why, the Bible tells us exactly why. It's their history. But there's no excuse, there's no license to have any sort of prejudice or bigotry against the Jews. None. We're only speaking honestly, according to the word of God.
Yeah.
Nothing else. This is in their own book, in their own Torah.
True.
All right? This is in there.
Yeah.
So, but the sad part of it is that for too many of them, they're not getting it. Yeah. Okay? They're just not getting it. But we're trying, y'all. We're trying because some do. And that's why we got to keep trying.
Amen.
Got to keep trying. All right. So, let's see. You brought us to bring us out of Egypt. Did we not say to you in Egypt, let us alone so that we may serve the Egyptians? You want to serve your oppressors. Okay. It was better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the wilderness. What I just say, rather live as slaves than to die free. Now, they're taking this grievance to Moses. Moses took this grievance to God too. God's like, Moses is like, hey man, what are you trying to bring suffering on us? What are you doing? You know, why are you doing this to us? Because God knows their heart. Because God's like, look, I'm gonna deliver y'all, but y'all need to understand something. I need you to see who you are. I need a people, and I've chosen you. But you're a reflection of how everybody are. But I'm choosing you to demonstrate this about people. This is any culture. This is anybody. Yes. But I need you to demo this. And these things are instructive and they're demonstrative of how people are. And it's like, look, you guys never asked for freedom. And that's the thing. And that's the thing that you guys are missing. It isn't my law, y'all. It's the law that I'm going to give you. My law says that you're supposed to be free. That's the law. Jesus is like, look, the law, I'm so about freedom that I won't even allow death to keep you. I will liberate you from death. I am not about oppression. Oppression is against the law for me. Hallelujah. It is the law for you to be free. And I need you guys to understand that. That's why I'm ramping up this oppression. So you guys will get it. Who you're being delivered from and why. So Moses had to come to this realization himself. And at some point, the Jews have to come to this realization. As we read further, we're gonna see a little bit deeper. All right. And yo, this ain't we can say the same thing about like the black community. Black community going down the same road as Jews. Yeah. You know, when people are talking about what did Trump say when he's talking about that disloyalty? You know, Jews are disloyal to America if they're voting for Democrat, and they're trying to call Trump an anti-Semite for that. Oh, Lord. Now, I mean, no, don't get me wrong, because, you know, I'm not, Malcolm X probably wasn't too crazy about Jewish people either. Wasn't too crazy about anybody. He was Afrocentric. Not apologizing for that. But if the Democrats and the liberals are so mad about what Trump said, they must be really mad about what Malcolm X said, because Malcolm X said, yeah, if you're black and you vote Democrat, you're a political chump and a traitor to your race.
Oh, preach it.
That's what Malcolm X said. You know, so, and that's not racism. That's just tough love. That's a real thing. Right? You got a whole bunch of blacks out there who are voting for Democrats. You're voting for oppression. Ooh. You vote for it because oppression because they disguise oppression as some sort of perverted idea of being liberating. Ooh. You think that you're going to get something for voting for them, and you think that it's justified that somebody else pays for it, be forced to pay for it. If a lot of people even consider where this money comes from, they just think the money has a bunch of government. Like, no, the government, the money has a bunch of government. The government has a bunch of money. Well, actually, money has a bunch of government too, because a lot of these folks are paid off. They're bought and paid for. Okay? But they think that the state has all this money. It's like, no, the state rips people off. Yeah. Legally. Yeah. To pay for these things that people think, you know, that they want. That's going to set them free. And unfortunately, a lot of the black community have bought into this. And have bought into the idea that somebody else is racist, so they believe the accusers.
Oh, true.
One of the best ways, the cheapest ways, I should say, the cheapest ways to get the trust of somebody is to cause them to distrust somebody else.
Amen.
That is how Democrats work.
Preach it. Amen.
Democrats get people to trust them by getting them to distrust other people. That's how they work. That's how the devil works. They are of their father the devil, and the sins of their father they will do. That's how they work. And unfortunately, Jews are definitely tied into this because most Jews vote Democrat.
Yes. Yeah.
All right? And you're seeing the history of that right here. This is who they've been. Y'all, you see a lot of Democrats out there, and it does seem like they're very affluent, doesn't it? Right? Doesn't seem like Jews are like hard up for money. It seems like, doesn't it seem like they always say that Jews run Hollywood and the Jews run the banking industry?
Yeah.
Okay? The Jews have the best jobs, lawyers, doctors, and stuff like that. Yet, they vote for oppressive policies. They vote for the party of oppression. The Democrat Party is the party of oppression, aren't they? And who do they count on for loyal votes? Jews. What were the Jews back in Egypt? Prosperous. Prosperous under oppression. That is where they thrived. Wow. They thrived in oppression. The word already told you. While they were there, they became numerous, powerful even. The word describes them as powerful. But they were slaves. And they were loyal to their oppressors. You just read it. We could have stayed in Egypt. We could have kept our mouth shut and stayed with our oppressors. And we could have been comfortable. And we could have been prosperous. The Jews are no different today than they were back then. They thrive under oppression. Thrive so to a point where their oppressors want to kill them. It is that way today. The Jews are thriving under a party of oppression. A party who wants to see them destroyed as they side with Palestine and snub their nose at Israel. It is the same today. Is what I'm saying racist? No. I'm not saying anything racist. I'm saying what's historical. I'm saying what's true. It's the same thing today as it was back then. I don't say this because I want to see the Jews destroyed. I want to see them because I want them to see the light. That's why. This ain't coming from any point of bigotry or malice against the Jews. None at all. I'm trying to say, yo, wake up. Stop it. We go through this book, page after page after page of Jews straying away from God and cozying up to oppressors over and over again. How does that happen? There ain't no excuse to be prejudiced against the Jews. I only say it because not to be like, look, I'm justified in my beef with the Jews. No, I say this because of love. It's like, look, y'all, I want y'all to be set free.
Amen.
Start asking for freedom.
Ooh.
You're not asking for freedom. You're not asking for freedom.
Wow.
You haven't asked for freedom yet. When you want freedom to do things that are oppressive, when you got these Democrat Jews out there voting for abortion, voting for gay marriage, voting to tax people and stuff like that, there's no liberty in that. There's no liberty there. These aren't liberty because you think they're liberal policies, that it's liberating. No, it's far from it.
Amen.
Far from it. Not even close. But that's what you guys vote for. You vote for Egypt.
Ooh.
And to vote for Egypt, what does Egypt mean? Bondage, oppression, slavery. That's what Egypt means. And to this day, Jews, you're still voting for Egypt. The place where the Lord your God brought you out from. That's what it says in his first commandments. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt. What if that's a commandment? What God is saying is that it's against the law for you to be there. It's against the law for you to be in Egypt. That's what God told you. It's against the law for you to be in bondage. Why are you voting for it?
Wow.
That's where we're at today. So no, what Trump said is not racist. I dare anybody to share this video with him. It's almost like I gotta dare people. Anybody gonna share it? Probably. I don't know. And don't get me wrong, because I know you guys try. I know some people try, and you get discouraged because you try to share it and nobody sees it. You try to share my work and people don't see it. I know, and you know, and I thank you. I thank you guys for trying to get my stuff out there. And you're seeing other people try to say this stuff, and you know they don't say it like so.
Oh, honey.
Right? You see other people trying to bite my rhymes, man. You see other people trying to do it, but you know. And but that's the whole thing. That's one of the reasons why people, you know, Facebook allows these people, because if more people see them doing it, the easier it is to forget about me. That's the whole point of it, right? I just saw there's you guys have probably heard of her, Eunice Adoma, adorable woman from the UK, and she comes on, you know, she's on fire for the Lord, and you know, she be preaching, but she's starting to get frustrated because all of a sudden people aren't seeing her stuff anymore. Oh. And she's like, did you guys forget about me? Are people not responding to me anymore? I'm not seeing as many responses. And you know, I had to let her know. It's like, no, it's not because people are forgetting about you. On their own volition, they're being made to. What's happening is that Facebook is reducing your views. Yep. They're reducing your ability to reach people. It makes your view counts low, which makes it look like your work is uninteresting and people will pass it up. And those who were following, because they don't see you in their feeds anymore, they'll forget you. It's not like they mean to. It's just out of sight, out of mind. That's the whole purpose of it. And it's to discourage you and make you think that people don't care about you anymore. Some don't. People, they'll forget you at the drop of a hat. That's true. But at the same time, a lot of it is being engineered. People are being engineered to doing that with the algorithms and stuff like that. So, you know, keep these people in your prayers because they're starting to feel it. I see some other people out there, you know, who are feeling it too. People who've been with CRTV and people who've had, you know, millions of views and stuff like that. People I've reached out to and said, hey, you know, we might want to band together and stuff like that. And, you know, I hope maybe you might say a kind word for my book. It's like, no, I don't have time to read your book.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have time to read your book, so I don't have. And have told me flat out I don't have time. It's not a priority for me. I've actually had people say that to me just when I politely asked, hey, have you checked out my book? No, it's not a priority for me. I've actually had people say that to me.
We're talking about Republican hosts with shows.
Right? People have said that to me.
They've all snubbed you.
Yeah. And now, when these people start to feel the pinch of the shadow banning, now they're all upset and freaked out and whining about it. I was like, oh, okay. Yes, yeah. Sorry. I'm so sorry that it's happening to you.
Yep.
You know? I kind of try to, you know, it's in my book, I kind of warn about this stuff. I've been warned about it in my videos for a long time, but, you know, I guess since they figured it will never happen to them, they didn't care. You know? Now it's happening to them, and, you know, all right.
I mean, you don't wish them.
Yeah, and keep these people in your prayers, you know, because we need these voices out there. You know, it sucks. You know, I'm not trying to gloat. It's like, haha, it's happening to you. No, it sucks. It's sad. You know, but it's just unfortunate that, you know, when these people, you know, is when you try to connect with them and say, hey, man, I want to support you and stuff like that, and they don't value your support. They're just like, yo, whatever. I don't care who you are. You know, it's like, wow, you know, okay. No wonder the Conservative Party is just having such a hard time, you know, getting the message out there, because you have a whole bunch of egotists out there, you know, who want the spotlight for themselves.
Very much so.
You know, who want to make like, oh no, I'm woke and I'm special. It's like, okay. Anyway, so let's see. Don't be afraid. Okay, right here. We're at 13. But Moses said to the people, don't be afraid, stand still and see the salvation of Adonai, which he will perform for you today. You have seen the Egyptians today, but you will never see them again. Oh, and so when you have these people who be talking to the Jews, like, we're going to wipe you off the face of the planet. Not like this. God flipped the script on them and wiped them out. Oh, my goodness. Okay, Adonai will fight for you while you hold your peace. Then Adonai said to Moses, why are you crying? Why are you crying to me, boy? Why you? That's got to be a funny thing. It's like, hey, Moses, why are you crying, man?
Oh.
Boy, sissy? Okay. Oh, then Adonai said to Moses, why are you crying? Tell Bnei Israel to go forward. Lift up your staff, stretch out your hand over the sea and divide it. Then Bnei Israel will go into the midst of the sea on dry ground. Then I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians. Man, harden it again. Gonna make them, it's like, it makes it harden so much, it's like, oh, despite these waters being parted, I don't care. I want to kill me some Jews. All right? Or I want to capture them and bring them back.
Yeah.
You know, we're going after them. And even into this supernatural thing that's going on, we want them. All right? Ego is just going to be hard. Okay? Once again, and this is, once again, God needs for Israel to realize what it is. It's not so much about the Egyptians. It's like, Jews, do you understand the nightmare of oppression?
Yeah.
I don't want you to be comfortable in slavery. I want you to desire freedom. Okay? It's like you see where God has to take them to this to get them to understand. He tells them that they're a stiff-necked people, and I'm pretty sure each one of us has run into somebody who's just really flipping hard-headed. Yeah. We all know them. Heck, if you're listening to me, you're talking to a knucklehead right now. Some people are just really, really hard-headed. Some people really, really don't get it. But, you know, some people do. Even when they're in that herd mentality, you might be able to reach some of them. You might be. That's why we try. Okay, but sometimes you gotta sift through a whole bunch of them to find those one or two that'll get it. That's why we're here. Yeah. Okay, and God has to go through these extremes to get some people to get it. All right. So Pharaoh and all his then behold, I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, and they will go after them, so that I will be glorified over Pharaoh and all his army, his chariots, and his horsemen. Then the Egyptians will know that I am Adonai, when I have been glorified over Pharaoh, his chariots, and his horsemen. This is basically the Egyptian culture that was remained, because whoever these Egyptians are that are following it, they're gonna die. Yeah, so they're gonna be a casualty of this instruction. Then the angel of God. Oh, there's the question of the angel of God. Okay. Then the angel of God who went before the camp of Israel. Excuse me. Hold up. Let's see. Okay. Then the angel of God who went before the camp of Israel moved and went behind them. Also the pillar of cloud moved from in front and stood behind them, and so came between the camp of Egypt and the camp of Israel. So, once again, establishing who is the angel. The angel is the destroyer. Who is the destroyer? God. The same, when God says, I will go through Egypt and I'll smite the firstborn, he told you, yeah, that's me. I am the destroying angel. So in this right here, it's the same thing. The angel that went before them, and what's more important, y'all, to understand about this angel. This angel, this is who Jesus is hearkening back to, because the angel, remember, is going to be sent to make a place for them. The angel will be sent before them for the place that Adonai made for them. Jesus reflected on this same thing. Remember Jesus, I go to prepare a place for you. That wasn't just Jesus giving them the hope of, hey, I'm going to make a place for you. What Jesus said is, yeah, that place, I've made it for you already. That's why he was using that language. I was that guy back then who said, I send an angel to the place that I'm making a place for you, where I prepared a place for you. The place is already there. It's there already. Jesus was that angel. Jesus is the destroyer in this right here. Because he is the personhood of God. He's the person of God. He was there back then, but he was in the person of Melchizedek, the eternal priest and king of Salem. Okay? That's who that was. So the angel that was before them then went behind them. Now, how do I further say that this is Melchizedek? Watch. Okay? Then the angel of God who went before the camp of Israel moved and went behind them. Also the pillar of cloud moved in front and stood behind them. This is all God. It's all God. And so came between the camp of Egypt and the camp of Israel. There was a cloud and the darkness over here, yet it gave light by night over there. Neither one came near the other all night long. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea. Adonai drove the sea back with a strong east wind throughout the night. So when people, it's like when we see like movies and stuff like this, it's like happened all at once. Like, no, God drove it back. Okay? Which in itself is still supernatural, because if it's a strong enough wind, you think that the whole camp will be blown out to sea in doing that. But God is but this makes it even more supernatural, because God is able to guide. Is this far-fetched? No, it's not far-fetched at all. Is it far-fetched that you'd have a whole bunch of people standing on the sea and a wind could come in and blow past them and blow the sea apart and hold it up without affecting the people who are standing there? It's like, well, how can God make that happen? Well, because he's God. We're talking to the same people, to the same God where Jesus was kicking back and he's sleeping in the boat. And they say, yo, man, there's a storm going on. Can you do something, please? And Jesus gets up, yeah, hey, storm, chill out, man. I'm trying to get some sleep. Hey? So even while Jesus was out there, Jesus has that much command over the wind, over the weather. If Jesus just go out there and be like, hey, chill, right? And the wind calms down and say, hey, and while you're at it, I need you to blow on my soup and cool it off. Brother want to get a little bite to eat. That's the power of Jesus. So yes, the Lord can actually blow a wind and blow it in a way where he can conduct its flow. Wow. It's like, look, man, I can shape the way that this wind blows. It did not affect you, but it can part the waters and dry the ground that you're going to walk on. That's God. All right. So God does that, and then the walls of the waters stay their position. Hardcore, man. That's God. All right. So then Moses, okay, we read that. All right, Adonai drove the sea back with a strong east wind throughout the night and turned the sea into dry land, so the waters were divided. Then Bnei Yisrael went into the midst of the sea on the dry ground, while the waters were still walls to them, to their left and to their right and their left. But the Egyptians pursued and went in after them into the midst of the sea, all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots with the spinning rims, and his horsemen. Now it came about during the morning watch that Adonai looked at the army of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and cloud and caused the army of the Egyptians to panic. He took off their chariot wheels, flat tire, and caused them to drive heavily, so that the Egyptians said, get away from the presence of Israel, for Adonai fights for them against the Egyptians. Y'all, so Adonai was like, peekaboo, I see you, and you're about to die. Okay, so the word says that they see Adonai peek out. He looks at them. He looks at them. Now remember, y'all, you can't see the face of God and live. Yeah. Nobody can. So how did they see this? How did they see? How does the word show that God looked out among them and then they freaked out? It's one thing. They're already freaked out by seeing this. I'm pretty sure it's like, you know. I mean, well, they couldn't have been too freaked out because they followed it in there. They followed this thing in there. So we're going to go get them Jews. We're going to go get them. They chased after this thing regardless of that. So it must have been the face of God that they saw when they got scared. All right? That's the thing that changed. They weren't scared a second ago. You got this pillar of fire and stuff like that, but they're still going to go in after it. It wasn't until they saw the face of God is when they got scared. Wow. Now, but here's the thing. Nobody can see God and live. The reason why they freaked out is because it was Melchizedek that they saw. That's how you're able to see God. You have to see him through the eternal priest. The supernatural projection of God is into the natural is Melchizedek. He's the one who takes on human form. God comes in human form through the image of Melchizedek. And this is a fully functional image, y'all. He can eat and everything. He ate with Abraham. He brought offerings. He brought wine and stuff like that. He brought bread, and they all ate together. A picture of Christ having bread and wine with his disciples. Okay, Melchizedek is the eternal priest and king who ultimately comes as the person of Jesus Christ. I know some people can't swallow that because they think it's like, no. If Melchizedek is an eternal priest, that means he's not eternal priest pro tem. That doesn't add up. He is the eternal priest. He's always going to be that way. But he became the person of Christ. All right. This is who peeked out and looked at them. And that's who freaked them out because they saw him. And they were like, oh, snap. All right. So the Egyptians said, get away from the presence of Israel, for Adonai fights for them against the Egyptians. Then Adonai said to Moses, stretch out your hand over the sea so that the waters come back upon the Egyptians, over their chariots and their horsemen. So Moses stretched his hand out over the waters, and the sea returned to its strength at the break of dawn. The Egyptians were fleeing from it, but Adonai overthrew them in the midst of the sea. Ugh, sucks to be y'all. The waters returned and covered the chariots, the horsemen, and the entire army of Pharaoh that went after them into the sea. No one remained. But Bnei Yisrael had walked on dry land. It's like, man, can you imagine that? You're just like, you're walking on dry land and you just see the waters just close in. And you're like, hey. were like walls, and the waters were like walls to them on their left hand and their right, and to their left hand and their right, or the right and their left. So Adonai saved Israel that day out of the hands of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead on the seashore. When Israel saw the great work that Adonai did over the Egyptians, the people feared Adonai, and they believed in Adonai and in his servant Moses.
Wow.
Exodus 14, y'all. Thanks for hanging in there with us.
Do you think your phone can stay in for some questions?
So far, it's behaving. It seems like it's behaving. Let's take some while we can.
So Nathan Shirley, if parents spent more time with their kids and sit down with dinners in them, play board games with them, take away the electronics sometimes, that would probably help out society for us not going so crazy, right?
Surely you can't be serious.
Jeez, you went there.
I'm always serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Oh, Lord.
All right.
See the movie Airplane. For those of you who don't know what he's doing.
The edited version. All right. Edited for family. Okay. I wasn't always Christian. So, and okay, yeah, indeed, man. To find ways to, interact. Look, like I'm not a parent. So, people can quickly jump in and say that, hey, man, unless you, been a parent and all that sort of stuff, so I don't say these things with a whole bunch of gravitas as if I really know what I'm talking about. But there is something to say with, engagement. And from as far as the Bible goes, it is important to have these fellowships, to be able to just, have a meal, when Jesus, would fellowship with people, it's like, yo, man, bring some food, let's get some food up in here. That was an important thing, to be able to dine together, fellowship, over food and stuff like that. So of course I would say that applies with your family. You want to be able to do that. You want to have some real time, with your fam. Like say for myself, that was something that was kind of alien, for me growing up. We didn't have, like dinner at the table and all that sort of stuff. I wanted something to eat, I made it myself and whatnot. So I didn't really see the interaction between, that biblical healthy interaction between a husband and a wife, and show that security and stuff like that. But if you have those things available to you, oh God, yes, do it. Spend that quality time. You want to be able to get that integrity, built up in your kids before they go out there, and they should. I think as the generations have gone by, as the years have gone by, those who are kids who are growing up and stuff like that, they're growing up with parents who aren't really instructive, with the Bible, and and we see it in like movies and stuff like that. When people ask, why did this happen? Why did that happen? Well, my son or my child, the Lord does things, and we're not always meant to understand it. And, and it's like, dude, what kind of empty talk is that? And then people, people that's not just movies. That's real life stuff where people have failed to give answers. And I assure you, the answers are in the Bible. They're in there, but people, they don't give them. And you think the Lord went through what he went through to sign this book in blood? You think the prophets and judges and kings, went through what they went through just for this book to be a mystery to us and where we couldn't teach with it? Far be it. Not true. This book isn't supposed to be a mystery to us. We're supposed to get it. After all the blood and sweat and tears that went into making it? Are you kidding me?
Right.
Yeah, we're supposed to get this, and we're supposed to be able to teach it. You got to do it with the counsel of the Holy Spirit, though. That's why the Bible says, don't lean on your own understanding. You got to trust in God so you can get the information. All the things that apply to the human condition are in the Bible to be instructed with. It's there.
Amen.
But it's a manual, y'all. But you see it in anything. Anytime we get an appliance or something like that, do we read the instructions? No. No, we don't read all the instructions. It's the same thing with a life manual too. Do the same thing. We think we got a lid on it. We don't read it. You need to read it.
Amen.
All right. This is if any book is going to tell you how the cow ate the cabbage, it's going to be this one right here. But people be trying to read like all a bunch of other stuff and try to lean on other philosophies and and religions and things like that, thinking that that's what's going to enlighten them or give them answers and stuff like that.
Right.
Not true. If you're going to waste that time, if you're going to, I should say, you're going to waste your time with that. This is time spent, and it's time spent well. So, this book right here is going to tell you what's up. And yeah, you want to be able to share that, and be, basically the spiritual head of your family. And you want to be able to explore this book, with your wife, because your wife is your ally.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a spiritual war, and you guys have both of your leadership roles to play, to be examples to your children, and your kids should delight in the security that you show to them.
Amen.
In your bond, because God is good glue.
Amen.
You're
the best.
He's the best glue, and when they got that sense of security, they'll learn from you.
Oh, yes.
But but at the same time, it's one thing that we gotta accept, that it's always gonna be a gamble. This is earth. This ain't heaven. Things are just gonna go wrong here. And sometimes whether it's your kids or whether your family, with your spouse, just people go sideways. It just happens.
Yeah.
You can be like, what did I do wrong with my kids? What did I do wrong? And all that sort of stuff. And all of a sudden your kids are tuning you out and whatnot. It happens. All you can do is your best, to make sure that you did what you could.
Right.
Could it ever be? You'll never know if it could have been enough. Some people probably beat themselves on, maybe I didn't do enough. Well, let's take God, for instance. You think God didn't do enough? With Adam and Eve? Gave the whole universe as their backyard. Immortality. Gave Adam the perfect wife. It's like, man, I'm gonna make your work. I'm gonna make your wife fit you so well that I'm actually gonna make her from a piece of you, and she's gonna fit you perfectly. All right. So and God's like, man, where did I go wrong? What did I miss? Adam and Eve transgressed. So it's gonna be a gamble, but take comfort in knowing that you've tried to abide in the Lord. None of us are perfect. And try to do what you can. Yeah, do those things. Study with your family. Make it make it this quality family time that you guys have, where you can just get together for read a chapter together. So look, we're just gonna read a chapter like we're doing right now. We're just gonna read a chapter.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised where the discussion can go.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, my wife and I, CJ. Oh man, we have mind-blowing discussions. The Lord keeps us engaged.
Amen.
Oh my goodness, and it's like we want to talk about just great company. Just great. It's like, when people look for somebody they can talk with. It's like, man, I wish somebody I've been blessed with that. Somebody's trying to call me. You know why? Because they're not watching my Bible study.
Right. How rude.
How rude. All right.
But no, to what you're saying, Boo, that God instructs the husband to teach the Bible upon rising, while you're walking along the way, meaning during the day, and at night when you're going to sleep. That's pretty much like almost all the time.
Gotta walk it like you talk it.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, I hope that helped, and
it helped me.
Right on.
So there was something. Jason Burian. I have many Black American friends who are so conservative, but they vote Democrat. What's the deal? Like how? Yeah. And
thank you for using the term black.
Oh, how funny! Yeah,
right. So, and I want to, and a reason why I want to say thanks for that is because when people are trying to talk about like Afro-American and African-American stuff like that, that stuff is lies. That's a bunch of lies. We're not African-American. We're black. That's according to the Bible. Okay. Biblically, we are black. We are descendants of Cush. Cush means black. That's what it means. So when you say a person is black, you're not just speaking to their skin color. You're speaking to their heritage and their nationality. The nation of Cush, the tribe of Cush, the nation of Cush. That's where we descend from. That's our actual nationality. Cush being synonymous with Ethiopia. That's our progenitor nation, where all your black nations come from, black tribes and stuff like that. Black people, we come from Cush. Cush means black. So when you say we're black, it's correct, biblically correct, not Jesse Jackson correct. By trying to call us African American, has nothing to do with us. Okay, Africa is a continent, right? Africa is a continent, not a country, not a nationality. All right? So, thank you Appreciate that. What was the question?
So he has a lot of Black American friends, and they vote. They're very conservative, but they vote Democrat.
Yeah, and
Explain.
y'all, this is I started talking about this from my first video back in like 2007.
That's true.
Hey, I've been explaining this since then, and I've been begging conservatives to just to live but I guess unless you say it in a PragerU video, nobody's gonna listen to you or something like that.
That's true.
But anyway, look, the reason why Black people vote Democrat is because conservatives have not done the cultural groundwork to remove the prejudice that Black people have against Republicans and conservatives. That's why. You can have them agree with you, line up with abortion, gay marriage, taxes, the free market and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, they'll agree with you, but they're not going to trust you. They don't want to be associated with you.
True.
That's why. Because you have been made to be a bunch of racists to them. That has not been cleared up. And I've been trying to tell conservatives how you do it. But conservatives, for some reason, don't have the money for it. They only have money for politicians to go in there to disappoint them. You have to fix this culturally. And you have to connect with Black people in the way that they get their information and where they get their ideas from. That has not been done.
Amen.
So, until these things, and don't get me wrong, because some people are trying.
Oh, yeah.
But unfortunately, a lot of times when conservatives do get out there and they make these culture narratives, they mess it up because they end up throwing a libertarian narrative to it. Instead of coming off as, it's like, they got these trace elements of conservatism, but they give it over to libertarianism, and that's what confuses the whole thing. Because remember, y'all, what is a libertarian? Basically, a libertarian is basically a liberal that doesn't have a love-hate relationship with taxes. Yeah. That's what a libertarian is. At the end of the day, now I'm talking about libertarians, not just small L libertarians. They're a lot more reasonable. Hey, but when you get into libertarianism, that's where a lot of those who consider them conservatives and go into art and stuff like that and make productions and stuff like that, they turn out to be more libertarian, and then from there, it's counterproductive.
Right.
You end up not being able to tell the difference.
Yeah.
So when you get conservatives supporting what it is to infiltrate the culture with conservative values and creative demonstrations, you'll start to see different. It ain't gonna happen overnight. Conservatives got to be patient. It took years to get here. It's gonna take years to get out. It's gonna take a lot of time. It's gonna take a lot of money. Conservatives say freedom isn't free. Well, let's prove it. Let's prove that you guys really believe that. Because it seems like a lot of times conservatives think that this is just gonna happen for free. And people think that people should just get it. That's why conservatives, they get disappointed, they get frustrated with liberals because you think they're just supposed to get it. Well, you know what? Some people just don't. And sometimes you gotta go deeper with some people. You gotta go outside of your comfort zone for people to understand. Yeah, it works that way sometimes. Jesus surely went out of his comfort zone to do it.
Right? Oh, yes.
I don't think it's gonna hurt us too bad to go outside of ours. Because if we don't, it's gonna get really uncomfortable. So it'd be great if conservatives would understand and start, demanding the supply of media to get out there and compete with the mind rot that's already out there. But they don't do that. And like I said, the conservatives that do, do these things, they do it from a more libertarian position.
Yeah.
And that right there, all it does is, it's like, dude, another liberal could have done that.
Yeah. You mean like Adam Carolla, that type of mindset?
Yeah, stuff like that. It's people. That's why people be talking like, well, I can't tell the difference.
No, that's true.
Yeah. It's, they're all the same. So hopefully folks will start to understand that. And